October 7th, our most sacred holiday, the most sacred Jewish holiday, Shabbat Simchat Torah. Simchat Torah is basically the holiday where we finish to read the Torah and we start again. So we celebrate the fact that we had the privilege to finish another year, to read the Torah once again, and then to start it all over again. But instead of going to the synagogue and celebrate, like all other religions get to celebrate their religion, we woke up to the sound of the alarm. So I remember 6:29 a.m. I wake up to the sound of the alarm, and my wife wakes up at the same time, and we look on each other, and like, do we hear? Is it true? Do we hear an alarm? And yes, it is an alarm. And my first instinct is that it was a mistake. And she said to me, it must be a mistake, an error. And the reason I say it must be an error is because unlike previous rounds between Israel and Hamas, where tension was built, there was like a provocation and the IDF responded, and there was another provocation from Hamas and the IDF responded, and then it was always Hamas who attacked first. It was always Hamas that ignited the scene. It was always Hamas who was first to attack. This time, there was no tension. There was no tension. And within 30 seconds, I realized that it's not an error, simply because I started to hear all the interceptions above our head. Ashdod, my city, was one of the most targeted cities on October 7th, and since October 7th throughout the entire war. We suffered hundreds and hundreds of missiles that were launched towards our city, among all other cities almost in Israel. And after we hear the interceptions, tens of them, dozens of them, then we start to hear the drops, the explosions. Simply because we do have the Iron Dome, but the Iron Dome couldn't cover for the amount of rockets that were fired towards us. Do you have any idea how many missiles were fired from Gaza Strip towards Israel on October 7th alone?
3,000.
Over 3,000.
Yes, 3,500. So if you calculate, if you take on October 7th, if you take the first 10 hours and you spread 3,500 missiles over 10 hours, it's about 350 missiles per hour.
How?
But the thing is that this barrage, the attack, the rocket barrage, it wasn't the main thing. It wasn't the main dish. Actually, it was just a disguise. It was just to camouflage the real action that they were planning. But on October 7th, we had this big invasion. We talked about the rocket barrage, and then it was followed by this invasion. Do you have any idea how many Hamas terrorists crossed from Gaza to Israel on October 7th? 5,500.
Mm-hmm.
5,500 Hamas terrorists. I'm not including the so-called civilians that you will see that came later on to Faraz and to Niroz to loot and to rape and to steal and to kidnap. They did all that. So-called civilians. And when I say 5,500 Hamas terrorists, I want to drill down to that number for a second because it's really important. It's really important. When we hear about like a terror attack, like in Bondi Beach, Australia, we all heard about what's happened in Bondi Beach, right?
Yeah.
A father and son go out on a killing spree. They go to target Jews again on their holiday. It's always Jews that have been targeted on their holidays, like it's okay. And then you think about it and you say, that's so crazy. They went there, they prepared themselves, a father and son did that crazy terror action, knowing that there's a good chance that they will get killed while doing so. But they did it anyway. Now I want you to think not about 100 of those, not about 1,000 of those. I want you to imagine in your mind like a stadium full of 5,500 terrorists who wake up in the same morning, not just willing to die, but gladly willing to die, just in order to kill Jews. But just think about a group of people, 5,500 people, who wake up in the same morning, willing to die, gladly to die, just to take Jewish lives. Now then ask yourself, okay, What can cause that? Is it really depression? It's a brainwash. It's a brainwash. And what's the root cause of that? The root cause of that is the Palestinian education. You know what we found in the Palestinian books, in their schools, in their kindergartens, in their baby rooms, in their kids' rooms? What type of materials we found?
Gone.
Mein Kampf, for instance. But you know, for instance, how they teach math? Like, yeah, on Sunday Muhammad killed 3 Jewish pigs. On Monday he killed 5 Zionist pigs. How many Jewish and Zionists he killed in 2 days? That's how they teach math. And when Israel say disarm Hamas, like now after we brought back our hostages and now we are fighting in Gaza and we are waiting for the second. We are going through the second phase of the agreement now. We all know about the agreement in Gaza, right? So we were just before the second phase, but we were insisting on disarming Hamas to make sure that Hamas will not be part of whatever is going to happen in Gaza next. Why are we so insisting on that? Why? Because eliminate Hamas for us doesn't mean to kill the last person with a gun. Doesn't mean to kill the last terrorist. We cannot do it. That's not our desire. We won't be able to do it, and we know. To kill or to eliminate Hamas means to eradicate the idea of Hamas, that education system, to stop that factory that produces those new terrorists again and again and again and again and again. Think about it. The age of the terrorists who came here on October 7th was just about 20 years old. The average. Some of them were 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, but that's what we're talking about. All of them, or vast majority of them, they didn't see an Israeli in their life because we pulled out from there more than 20 years ago. So they don't even know what's in Israel, but what they hear about us. And that's the Jew hatred system, the fundamental Jew hatred system that is being nurtured in Gaza to the Palestinians. That the most elite thing that they can do is to become a shahid, a martyr, is to kill Jews. And in order to change that, you have to do something very, very drastic, like eliminate Hamas, like to make sure that this entire agenda, their entire curriculum will absolutely change.